We are live. Hello, hello, everyone. How y'all doing today? I am author Lawana Kelly, and today I have author Barbara Moss as a guest, and we're supposed to have a few more other guests. But would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Barbara Moss. I am the author of From Pillar to Post Now I'm Standing, which is available on AmazonBooks.com. I self published April 24th of 2017. It's my life's testimony from 13 until the age of about 40 plus. I'm currently in the stages of writing book number two.
Amen, amen. Okay, so we are live. I see that. Did you share it?
I did.
Okay, okay. So, what would you like to talk about first?
Um, what got you into writing? Get down, Bella.
What we got me into writing? Thank you. um, life experiences, and I see so many women going through the things that I went through and don't know how to persevere through it. So I'm telling my story to help other women and empower other women and let them know that they damaged crown, they've been damaged, hurt in any type of way, but their crown still shine. So we'll get you
That's
right.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, I'm about the same way as you. I started writing my book when I was 13 years old because not only was that one of the milestones in life, but it was where life began to change for me. And I've kept that in my head for all that time. And, God sat me down in a place where I had the opportunity to write my story because I kept saying, I'm going to write it, but never did. And God sat me in a place where I was quiet and had the opportunity to do that. So I too share my life's testimony, and those storms that I've gone through, I don't believe were just for me, but to help somebody else get through their storms.
Okay. So would you like to talk about some of your experiences?
Sure. So I'm Black and Mexican. I was born in Mexico and raised in the United States. And the story my father always told me as a kid was that my mother abandoned us.
Okay.
And come to find out years later, by my stepmother, that used to be my bonus mother. I don't like the word step. By my
Yeah.
bonus mother, that used to be my mother and my father's maid, that my father actually took us from my mother, and she was the one that helped me find my mother when I was 18 years old. She knew somebody in Mexico that knew the family, and she made arrangements so that I could meet my birth mother. Because anytime I wanted to meet her, my father would always lay a guilt trip on me and say, because you want to meet her means that you don't love me as much as you say you do. So it
Wow.
was a whole guilt complex. And that book was a lot of healing for me because I held so much anger and resentment in my heart that I just had to get rid of it. And in writing that book, I was able to say, okay, I forgive you,
Okay.
and I had to forgive myself too for some of the situations that I placed myself in,
Okay.
um, that caused me some of the damage in my life.
Damage in your life.
So
Okay.
it was a healing book. It
Amen.
is a healing book.
Right. And so you coming from a forgiving place
Yes,
with your story.
definitely.
Story. And so who are your target audience? Who would you like to help with your story?
Well, my book's not for everybody, but I believe that women uh, from the age of 18 on up,
Hmm.
even though my story began when I was 13, um,
We were the same age.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I believe it's from 18 on up, because I'm not sure if kids' minds are mature enough to understand some of these things. They might be, but it's my dog's in my lap.
It's
But
fine.
yeah, for people 18 and up, somebody that's gone through something,
Right.
because for a long time I felt like I was the only one
Mhm.
that was going through those storms,
Okay.
but come to find out that I wasn't, so those storms that I went through were actually made to help somebody else who doesn't have as strong a faith as I did to
Right.
get
Right.
through, you
Right.
know.
So, your experiences. So, what like other experiences not having mom there? How did that make you feel?
Oh man, um, all I ever wanted to do in life was have a child, have babies. I wanted a house full of babies, and I wanted to be everything that I didn't have as a girl growing up in a real mother. But God blessed me with two bonus mothers that helped me along my way, and then a couple of spiritual mothers that helped me along life's journey.
Amen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So, what would
yeah.
you say? So, how did your mother receive you when you met her? When you met her, how did it go?
That was tough. Um, I remember my bonus mom, and she's Dulce in my book, which means sweetness or candy. Um, she called the school and had me to come out of school. And I
Mhm.
went to the house to see what was going on. And she said, I've got somebody for you to meet. So um, my birth mother, Carmen, she was actually in the park that was right down the road from our house.
Okay.
And I went and I met her, and she was all tears. And
Really?
it's sad because up until the day that she passed away,
Mhm.
anytime she talked to me, she was in tears. And it's like, stop crying. I'm here. Um, we're together. So it's just, it was hard. It was hard. Now, my baby brother, uh, he took it a little harder than I did.
Really?
Um, yeah, he did because he was only 3, and all he knew as a mother was our bonus mom.
Okay.
So he was kind of upset with me because I even wanted to get to know her. But throughout the years, from 18 until who when she passed away, 2017. Yeah, from 18 to 2007, from 86 until 2017, we had communication.
Okay.
It wasn't a real relationship, but we communicated. But to me, it was a beautiful thing. It was a hurtful thing many times, but it was a beautiful thing.
So, how did you feel when you found out the truth that your father took you from your mother versus your mother abandoned you?
I was upset. I was angry with my father for so many years, but I had to learn how to forgive him because he wanted what was best for me. And I don't know what my life would have been like had I stayed in Mexico with my birth mom. But from according to my bonus mom, she, even though she had a son prior to marrying my dad, she didn't treat me and my brother the way that she felt we should have been treated. She often asked her, "Are these actually your kids?" Because of the way that she used to speak to us, and it was in a derogatory way. So,
Uh,
um, Father knows best, because he'd hear it and he'd see it. And but I was angry because I always longed for that mother connection. I'd see my friends with their mothers at different events, and I'd be jealous, because my bonus mothers didn't do that kind of stuff. And I always longed for my mother to be there, and she wasn't there because of what my dad did. And I was upset, but I had to learn how to forgive him. I actually dedicated that book to him. He passed away in 2008. No, in 1986,
okay.
right after I met my birth mother.
Really?
Yeah.
And see, I had the mother issue where my mother was on drugs and we had to live with my
Hmm.
grandmother. And I long, my mother is here, and I long for the motherly love relationship. Now I had a bonus mom that treated me like I was her daughter until I got grown.
Hmm.
I don't know what happened. After I got married, something just went, relationship went down like that. But however, I I still have, I still had mommy issues because I wanted that mother.
Hmm.
But as I had children, I was able to embrace my children and give my kids that motherly love that I always wanted. I'm
Right.
I'm a nurturer. I'm a loving woman. So, what would you say to the young ladies that have mommy issues or long for that mother's love? What would you say to them? Because we see what we who we talking to. Hello, Trey. Hold on, we about to add the other author on.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
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 How long you been sitting there? I just looked down and saw you there.
Oh, I just got on.
Okay, I just want to make sure I wasn't missing you. Um, so what would you say to the women that have the mother issues, like having issues in one of their mom?
Um, Forgive them and love yourself first the way that you long to be loved by your mother. That way you can show that type of love to those people that come into your life, whether it's your own children or bonus children or non biological children. I've only got one son, but I've got many daughters that aren't mine. They're somebody else's babies, but because of the way that I love, because of the way that I nurture, I've collected babies over the years. So, yeah, love, forgive first, love yourself the way that you wanted to be loved so that
Mhm.
you can, give that love to somebody else that longs for the same thing.
Amen, amen. So I'm gonna ask Trey to introduce herself and let us know about her book and share some about her story as well.
Well, my name is Treya Riley.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm pronouncing it.
Actually, Treya is part of my name. My name is Shantrea.
Oh, Chantra. Okay.
Yes, I use Treya for short because my name is so long.
Okay.
And some years ago, the Lord been dealing with me concerning writing, sharing my story, and writing my book. And so I finally um, surrendered and felt the need to put just a little, because it's so much more, just to put a little in the book to at least get part of my story out there as the beginning. And my book is called Process to Purpose.
Mhm.
And basically what my story is about is during my divorce, part of my divorce, and just going through that whole separation and all of that. And so I talk about the different transition that my life took, um, the different things that I encountered that I didn't think that I would encounter. So um, I don't know if you want me to kind of go into
You're more than welcome to go into it.
because it's a lot.
Yes.
Well, it's a lot, So you know, doing right at the time when I was writing my story, it's like the Lord just started to like just share like different kind of play my life over.
Hmm.
Can excuse me for 1 second? I
Yes.
got this 1 second.
Okay. So, Arthur Moss Barber, Sister Barber. Okay, so I'm gonna let her share a little bit of her story, and then you can go into another chapter of yours,
Okay.
and then before we get off here, because we could talk all day, I'm long winded, and then you just let people know how you get your book, and we
Okay.
just collaborate. If you got questions for her, let's collaborate. If you got questions for me,
Yes.
let's collaborate, and then that's how we do it.
That's great.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got the grandbaby, so I had to get her straight.
Okay.
So, did you want me to continue? I'm sorry.
So what we're doing is going to collaborate, and we're
Okay.
going to hear some of your story. We'll hear some of hers, hear some of mine, and when some touches, we start asking questions, and we keep it going. Like I said, I'm long winded, so we can be on here as long as we need to be.
um. So you back to me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
just got on. I give you your time.
Okay. So basically, as I was writing my book, I can remember saying to myself, I was doing things that I didn't think I was going to do. You know, um, a lot of times you say, I'll never do this, I'll never do that. But you just never know when you find yourself in certain situations, you
Right,
know.
right,
And when you're in pain and when you're in a desperate situation, you do desperate things.
right, right.
So, I found myself messing with a married man,
Okay.
you know. The very thing that was done to me, I did to somebody else,
Wow,
you
wow.
know. And at the time, all I was thinking about is somebody just comforting me, covering up my heart, where it was bleeding, kind of put band-aids on it.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself in such a financial needy place because I was self-employed. So, the enemy dresses things up really good. He makes things look so good. And so I found myself in a compromising place. And I began to mess with this man for 5 years.
Okay.
And in my mind, I blocked out the fact that he was married. You know, it was all about me, and getting my needs met.
Mm.
And so what the enemy did was, little at a time, he would present things to me, and without me saying this man will fulfill the needs. But the enemy also knows and knew what I was in need of. And so without me even saying anything to this man, he was fulfilling those needs. And so where I kept saying, I'm not going to sleep with him, not going to mess with him, then I got in a place where a sense of guilt started playing a role. So I was like, okay, well, I think I need to just, he's doing this and that. So just let me just give in and open up. And so where I found myself in is for 7 years.
Wow,
Wow.
Um, Getting pregnant 3 times,
wow,
lost the baby all 3 times,
wow.
each
By
twice
the by the married man.
by the married man. Yes, and because of I was in always wanted another child, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and because my at the time husband didn't want a baby, and so in my mind is I don't care, I just want a
Right,
baby,
right,
you
right.
know, and so um I ended up, getting pregnant 3 times, and by the grace of God, even though it was ended in a miscarriage, but I know it was God,
Right,
you
right,
know, and I thank Him for it because, um, I mean, it's so much that I can, just really,
right.
kind of go into, and even with him, even with dealing with my ex husband, he was just so mentally abusive. you
Okay.
know he um my self-esteem was so low, and he made me feel less than. And the reason why he made me feel less than, come to find out, because he didn't feel good about himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to take the focus off himself and make me feel less than. And so um
So
later, all these things came out, once we chatted or what have you. And I did something um that I feel is big, because I hear a lot of women struggle with it, and that was forgiveness.
wow, yeah, we're
you
gonna have to
know
really talk about that in the show too. Forgiveness.
yeah,
We need to talk about that.
because I realized that in order to share my story and be effective, I had to forgive. because what will happen, my story would bleed on all the other women, add into how they already feel, not giving them a solution, but being a part of the pity party, pretty much.
I,
And so,
for you. I have a question for you. What would you say to the women that's in a relationship with a married man with the I
mhm,
don't care attitude? What would you say to them?
get out. Because first of all, they just sell you a whole bunch of promises. I'm going to leave her. And one other thing that I've realized, they'll tell you all these negative things about their wife, and
Mm,
that's so that you can you and what happens is the other woman, she begin to do those things, you know to make this man be more, like he's wanting him to leave his home. And 99.99% of the time, he's not going to leave his home,
no, not at all.
because most of the time they just want to play toy. They want to be able to cope with their home. So what they do is they get another woman, or either vice versa. But because I'm a woman, I can speak about women. But I know women do it to men also. But um, he would always tell me that he was going to leave. And one thing after another, and I'm like, well, you still saying that? Every time you say, after this situation, you're going to leave. After this situation, things just began to just kept going on, until the point where I had to really, actually, it took for me to get into a relationship with somebody else, actually, to be honest, for me to let go.
Wow.
And so I believe that God gave me that way of escape, you
Amen.
know, because I got to the point where I was just tired. And I began to because at one point, back up a little bit, at one point I got tired of praying and asking God to mend my marriage, you know. And so I rebelled against the Lord. I turned my back, and pretty much I said I'm gonna do it my way, you
Yeah.
know. And so instead instead of me just sitting still and seeing what the end was going to be, I decided to
Okay.
try
Just want to
kind
know
of
why
pretty much
Kelly.
go my own way and do my own thing, which I'm so grateful to God, because I didn't know how I was going to get out of it. I just
I'm
didn't
sorry.
know.
My husband got some more viewers that want to come from TikTok over here to see it. So I had to get him, tell him just, he wanted me to go in there and put it in the caption. I'm like, how can I do that? And I'm on live and I'm trying to grab my phone. So he's just going to hold my book up and then get my last name, my first last name.
Okay.
But yes, yes. So, Ms. Moss, do you have another chapter you'd like to talk about?
Well, even going into Treya's story, that's when I was younger, because my father was a womanizer,
Mhm.
and he used to beat his women, and cheat and do whatever he was doing. Um, I always told myself that I would have rather been the one he cheated with than the one he cheated on,
Mhm.
because I saw the heartache and pain of the women that he cheated on. And I didn't want that. So I was like, well, they seem to have it a little better over here on this side, being the one that he cheats with. So unfortunately, when I was coming up, when I was in my early 20s, I took that attitude on, and I would mess with married men. And they say karma's a booger,
Mhm.
but the Bible tells us that we reap what we
Reap what
sow.
you sow.
And I did exactly that,
Mhm.
at at the beginning of my marriage, the middle of my marriage, and subsequently the end of my marriage. I ended up reaping exactly what I sowed. That pain that I caused other women
Mhm.
um, caused me to have the pain that my bonus mothers had. And that was a heartbreaking thing. So um, in in that, I had to learn how to forgive myself. for doing what I did. And if I knew the women that I had hurt, I would have apologized to them directly, but that is a devastating place to be in.
Mm-hmm.
At least it was for me, because I caused devastation all the way around, whether it was to the other women that whose husbands I dealt with, and
Now.
uh, subsequently the pain that I caused myself. So
You ladies think that the trauma, well, you know what I say? If I mess with a married man, it was unknown and they lied and I
mhm.
did not know until the after the fact. But however, what would y'all ladies say to the women out here that's in those situations where, you know, they don't know how to get out the situation, they stuck in the situation, how to forgive themselves because we go through so much trauma and the
Mm-hmm.
hurt, and
Mm-hmm.
we don't mind. Well, hurt people do what?
Hurt
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 people.
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 Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So, how can we empower women? Because we know how I feel on the other end.
Yeah.
How can
Mm-hmm.
we
Mhm.
empower other women to be better and put them in better positions?
Well, first of all, there's just no way that we can do it without the Lord. That's just number one. And he has to prayer is key,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And even though mine, I believe that God gave me that way of escape because and also you have to when you're really ready, because
Uh-oh.
sometimes we can say it, but deep down inside our heart, we're not ready, and
Mhm.
God knows our heart. So I believe when you're at a place where you're tired and you know what you're doing is not right because it's not getting you anywhere, you know, um, and it's just take much prayer because it's a stronghold and it's also a soul tie, and soul ties are not easily broken,
That'll get us in trouble. No
you
so.
know,
Yeah.
and they're not easily broken, and it takes the Holy Spirit, the Lord, honestly, to really break that soul tie. But you have to be in a place where you have to be honest with yourself and knowing that this man does not belong to you. He'll never belong to you. I don't care how much you pray and say, Lord, that let him leave his wife. That's not the will of the Lord,
Mm.
because we're interfering with covenant, and God forbids. So, I believe that they could just really pray and mean it. And I believe that God, and also when he give you the way of escape, take it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You got to take it, you know. So,
But it's hard when you don't know the Lord like that.
Mm.
yeah, that's
Hopefully
true.
you can come across somebody, and and I really
Come
shouldn't
here,
say
baby.
that because we all know right from wrong, and we know when we're messing with somebody else's husband that that's not the right thing to do. But
Mm-hmm.
when we don't know the Lord, it's like, I don't care. I'd rather be the one that you cheat on than the one you cheat, or the one you cheat with instead of the one that you cheat on, and just have that mindset. And my words to a young lady, if I could talk to the Barbara of 2000 or of 1986, I'd tell her, what are you doing? Look in the mirror. You got to love you.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, he belongs to somebody else. Love you first, and then you'll find somebody who'll love you the way you deserve to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
Amen to that. Amen. A lot of women don't know that. And
Right.
there's so many hurting women out here, just in this
Yes.
situation right here alone, mommy and
Mm-hmm.
daddy issues, and then relationships and low self esteem issues. And
Right.
Mm-hmm.
we have to really just empower these women and let them know. Because some women I see here on social media, they say, I called his wife to let him know he cheating on us. What sense does that make? Who knew
Mm.
that? You know?
And and thanks be to God that a lot of women don't make it out. Some women get killed. It's so
Right.
risky
You
and
see why we can't be on
dangerous.
TikTok, Trey?
Huh?
You see why we can't be on
Right.
TikTok with these
Right.
words?
Yeah.
Go ahead, I'm
Right.
sorry.
Because it's I believe that um even though it wasn't a good situation, God orders our steps. And I
Right.
believe that there are certain things that he allow you to experience so that you can be a witness and a testimony to someone else, and let them know that, and look at me, God did it for me, you know, and if he did it for me, he'll do it for you. And like uh what's Miss Barbara?
Mhm.
Miss
Yeah, you
Barbara
can call me
said,
Bam too.
huh?
You can call me Bam.
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 Okay.
Okay. Just that she was saying, it's part of low self-esteem too, when you don't think
Mhm.
highly of yourself. And somebody had said something to me a while ago. I was talking to a minister at my church, and I was telling her, I was like, it's so hard to get out of it. And she said, think about this. She said, do you love yourself? And oh yeah, I love myself. But when I begin to think about it, and I really began to take inventory. I took almost 2 years off from dating because I need to know how I was. It's not hard to get a man, but it's like when you just constantly getting into, these situationships, and you never take time to focus on yourself. So I took some time. I had to shut men out because it was like one man come, here come another one, and so I found myself entertaining, but never finding out who I was, and
Right.
a man, oh, you this and you that. And I said, I need to know who I am. Let me love on me. Let me see what makes me happy. Let me see how I can make me feel good, and not always look for it in a man, And so I had to learn to love myself. I didn't
Right.
love. I thought I did. I'm like, And so what I said is, when you love yourself, you're not gonna cause no kind of pain to you. You're gonna guard
Right.
you. You're gonna guard your heart. You're not gonna let nobody hurt your heart. And so certain situations, that's pain. That's self-inflicted.
So, yeah.
So that said to me that I didn't love myself. So, and like I said, I had to take an inventory and take a break, just from entertaining men, period.
I remember when I was in a situationship,
Calm
trying to
down, baby.
love two men at one time, trying to love my husband and my ex fiance. I was trying,
Uh-huh.
whew, and we put ourselves in there, but it be things that's going on that's convenient. One had the money, the other one had
Mm-hmm.
God knows what.
Uh-huh.
However,
Right.
and we put ourselves in some situations because I can't think of the word, but it's convenient at that time.
Yeah.
I just lost my
Mhm.
house. I just lost my car. I
Mm-hmm.
lost everything I had. So whatever was good to me at that time, I was taking it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of women out here like that. And but it started like that unhealed trauma from when we was 13 and kids, when we were kids, that
Mm-hmm.
unhealed trauma. And that's why we got to enlighten and just help people and share our stories and keep. So Bam, do you got another chapter you would like to go into about your book? Another situation that.
Um, well, even sticking with this one, I remember being that one that said, I need you to call her. I want to talk to her. I got into
The
this
other woman?
deep dark hole. Mm-hmm.
The other one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I got into this deep dark hole that I tell you, I almost lost my mind.
Mhm.
Uh, but he had come to the house. He had already asked me, and it's funny how God shows you things. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes he just brush it away. I knew things
Mm-hmm.
were changing in our life, and by the way that he was acting, um, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. And then he gave me a call at work one day on my way home. He said, "When you get home, we need to talk." And I was like, "Okay," but the Lord had already told me, um, or shown me that phone call, and he told me what it was that he was going to say and what I needed to do. So he had told me, it's not you, it's me. I'm going through a midlife crisis, yada, yada, yada. And I think I'm gonna move out. And I told him that's okay. Me and my son got it. He was
Mhm.
like, well, I'll take care of our son, and I'll make sure that y'all are okay. I was like, we're good. Just let me get through this business trip to Mexico, and when I get back, we'll do Christmas, and we'll tell him after Christmas because I don't want to ruin Christmas for him.
Mhm.
So, in between his moving from our place to his own place, I blacked out and I told him I want to talk to her. I want to talk to her, get her on the phone, or I will go to where she's at because by that point, I had hired not only an attorney but a private investigator, and I knew where she was. I knew where she worked with him at the post office. I knew where she lived,
Mm,
and I told him, if you don't tell me, I'm going.
Mhm.
If you
mm,
don't get her on the phone, I'm going.
mm.
And he got scared, so he put her on the phone, and uh, she told me he didn't care, so I didn't care.
Mhm.
And that just made me even angrier. I saw nothing but red. So um, he got mad because I made her cry. You see what you did? You made me make her cry. And I was like, you worried about her crying and not my tears?
Mm,
Honey, I got on that, took off my shoes. I had some clogs on with a wood heel, and
uh,
I started beating him. And I was bound and determined that he was going to hurt the way that I was. Um, but um, he wouldn't allow me to keep hitting on him. And you could hear her screaming through the phone, "Don't hit her, don't hit her." And before I knew it, he had to get me off of him. He had smacked me
mm,
and got me off him. So he got up, went to the bedroom, started packing his stuff, and I came in there with my shoe and kept steady trying to hurt him. And he picked me up and threw me against the wall, and he ended up leaving. And I ended up getting so drunk that night that my son was in his room playing video games, that I had called everybody on my phone and told them, I just wanted to call, tell you I love you, hadn't heard your voice in a while. But two of my friends, my ex sister in law and my godson's mother, both in different places. One lived out by the lake and one lived in Georgia.
mm,
Both heard something in my voice and came to me. And it's like, I'm still calling, I'm drinking, I'm listening to the CD he had made me. And I was so drunk that I urinated on myself and had a puddle. And they got there because I had put my baseball bat, because I played ball at the time, in my trunk, and
mm.
I was going to where she was at. And
Oh,
two things were going to happen. I was going to kill her, or I was going to wind up in jail for the rest of my life.
I, I have
Not thinking about the consequences.
I have a
Right.
question, ladies.
Hmm.
Ladies, I have a question. Why we go after the other woman?
Yeah, we do.
I
We
know,
do.
I just want to know why, because we got to help other women. I want to know why.
We
right,
do.
It's the men, but why do we go after the other woman? I mean, come on,
Mhm.
right.
yeah. Come on, somebody elaborate.
Can
Why?
I
Look,
one second? I don't know if I shared it on my page because somebody just texted me,
Uh,
and, and I don't know because I don't know how I was supposed to share it. I don't know about
you know,
StreamYard.
you don't see share on your page.
Yeah, I don't.
Let me see. TREA. Let me see if it's on your page. Let me look right now. Nope, you didn't share it.
No,
You don't
because
see share at the bottom of the of mine.
no, it just says mic, camera, chat. Wait a minute, let me see more. No, it don't say share.
Okay, can you go to my page and see? Did you were you able to share it, Bam?
I shared it on my Facebook page, but I didn't share it on TikTok.
We can't share it on TikTok.
Okay.
I didn't know how to. Was I supposed to do it before I got on?
No, you can look at my go to my page and just push share and share it on your page.
So leave out of here.
Oh, you can.
Wait a minute,
Yeah,
let me
that's
see.
that's what was happening to me. I kept
Okay,
trying
wait a
to
minute.
share and it would knock me out.
Right, right. I see you popped up 2 times. Now you said you had some other authors that wanted to come on.
I did, but I don't know if they've been on Facebook yet or
Okay,
they got my notice.
see the link. See the link. I think we had to share the link.
Yeah, because that's what I did on my Facebook page. I shared the whole link
Okay, but for
and
them to come
tagged the
on here,
authors.
for them to come on
Hmm.
here, I will have to
Yes.
share the link to them. So we can go
Oh,
live on Thursday and we can do it again.
okay.
I would love to
Okay.
go on every day. Well, I can't. I know we can't all go on every day, but Tuesdays and Thursdays is real good. Okay, so she just shared the video. But Tuesdays and Thursdays is real good. Okay, so she just shared
Okay,
the video.
I did
Okay,
it.
you just shared this. Okay. All right. We gonna have it together next time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, I hear myself. Let me turn mine down. Okay, now what we was at again? I'm sorry.
She was saying that she put the baseball bat in the car.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So they got to me at the same time from these two different locations. One's about 50 miles away and one was about 10, 20 minutes away from me. But they saved my life. They saved it's amazing how God works, but because when I needed those angels, he
Mm-hmm.
sent them straight to me. You
Mhm.
know, my cousin went into the room and started playing video games with my son, and I wasn't coherent enough because I was so drunk that I didn't think of the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
But I thank God for stepping in when he did.
Yes.
Um, yeah,
Yeah. And
it's amazing.
it
And
is.
I
And
don't understand why it is that I went after her. I was just, well, I do know because she told me he didn't care, so I didn't care. So I was going to give her something to care about, but,
You was gonna make her feel
but
your
that's
pain that
crazy.
night. You was
Right,
gonna make her
right.
feel your pain.
yeah.
I was. Yeah.
And so many women can be so like, what if the women don't know? And the
Well,
men
it's not going to take long for the
her to
woman to
find out.
find out, because one thing that I do know about a man, they don't know how to switch up their routines, you
Mm,
know. And one thing that God gave us was an intuition,
intuition.
and we know, a lot of times we don't we act as if we don't know, but there's
Hmm.
something that inside of us that we ignore, you
Right,
know
right, right.
and a believer would say Holy Spirit discernment, but it's a in and it's a intuition that will let you know that, and the thing about as far as the way, my ex-husband cheated. He was a cheater before I married him. A lot of times we think that once we marry, they're going to change, things is going to change, you know.
We got people in the chat. You can keep going, sis, but we got people in the chat. She said, yes, men are
Sloppy,
sloppy.
and they are. And so, you know, um, he cheated on me a lot before I married him,
Uh,
so in my mind, oh, he'll change, but a man is only going to change if they want to change,
That's
and for
it.
some reason we just think, that if we marry them, they're going to change. If we have a baby by them, they're going to change. But a man is only going to change if he want to change, so
Hmm.
um actually I married, you know him the way he was, and it was like, actually, um we both committed our lives to Christ at the same time. And so, things, and of course the enemy is angry. So what happens? He and it, the warfare and everything just enlightened. It just got more intense, and where he got bold with where he just didn't care, and so it got to a point where I was serving, the Lord, and then he's decided to go the other way. So then we are unequally yoked. I'm serving God. God is taking me to a place in him higher. I'm in ministry, but he decided that he don't want to go to church no more. And
Mm.
so because he decides that he want to turn his back on God, it made it more of a struggle because I mean it's real, because I was like, do I have peace in my home or do I keep doing ministry? Till I got to the point where I said, I'm not going to church because it's causing conflict in my house. And God forbid. And so there was another thing that the Lord showed me that, after my time of crying and angry at God and, and Lord, why this happening to me? And then, until when I finally got myself into a place that he's been calling me the entire time that I've been saved. And that was just at a place with him where I can hear his voice. And unfortunately, it took for my marriage to be in trouble because, when we love something so much, we don't do what we got to do. And if
Right.
it's Lord, okay, I'll surrender because I want my marriage to work. That's where God had me at. And at that time, he began to show me um, me as far as in my marriage. He showed me that my husband was my God. Be-
Mm.
and I worshiped my husband.
Mm.
And
Right.
he said, I'm a jealous God. You shall have no other God before me. And I didn't really realize that I was worshiping my husband, but the things that my husband was doing, I was so busy trying to fulfill my husband's needs and desires and not focusing on the Lord. And he's like, oh no, we're not going to have this. And
Right.
so I'm constantly tugging and pulling and crying until God finally showed me, you
Mm.
know, that this man is your God. You know,
Mm.
you have made him your God. And I didn't realize, and I had to repent, you know. And so now I'm so careful now, even in dating, I'm so careful that because I said, Lord, give me another husband, and I can promise you that he will not come before you. Because
Right.
and this is something that I was trying to share with a woman uh like I think it was last week on a live on TikTok. I had got on a live,
Mm.
and she was just saying, that she had gave her life back to Christ. And she was saying, and it's so hard because my husband, he don't want to go to church and he don't want to serve God, and she was like, but do I leave my husband? And she just going through all of these emotions. And I began to share some of my story with her,
Amen.
and it's not that God wants you to leave your husband, but one thing he's not going to do, he's not going to let him hinder you. When you got to work, when you got a call on your life, your call is more important than that man,
Yeah.
Right.
and not that God will say, all marriages don't end in divorce, but when it came to me,
Mm.
I worship my husband, so God had to remove, And also, I also realized is that we can pray, pray, and pray, but if that person doesn't submit their self to God, it doesn't mean that God didn't answer the prayer. It's just that that person, they just didn't submit. Even if God may have said, to my ex-husband, go home to your wife, but because he didn't want to, because the enemy is so cunning and tricky, and to have made him feel like less than, spiritually.
Mm.
And I was trying to assure him that no, we walk together. You don't walk behind me, you
Mm.
walk beside, we're walking side by side, and all I did was say yes, and I talk about that in my book, how my yes threw me in the process. So that's why my book is Process to Purpose, because
Wow.
my process, it taught me, it's coming there. My process taught me, it helped me to see who I am in God, in the spirit realm. It taught me my authority in the spirit realm. It taught me how to pray. I know how to pray. I know how to pray and target, because during my process, that's one thing I can say to you ladies. When you're in process, get all that you need to get. Because
Amen.
if you want to get out of it,
Get out the
or it's like you're
situation.
gonna keep on, it's like a test. You're gonna keep going through until you pass it. And
Mm.
so when I got tired, I was
Ooh.
like, Lord, okay, show me what it is,
Mm.
that I need to get, and so Um, I believe that I've gotten all, and not until I truly forgave, it wasn't in words, but I truly in my heart forgave, my ex-husband. And that's when God allowed me to release my book, because I could write and not giving a bitter story, because I could say all men cheat and all men this, because that's what happens. We find ourselves badgering men, because we are still
We tear 'em
broken.
down.
We're,
Yes, we
we're still
tear 'em down. We
broken.
hurt 'em.
We're
Yeah.
still broken and unhealed. And,
Mm.
and all men don't cheat,
Mm.
and I do want to be married again. And I am going to be married again because I love
So,
marriage.
so real quick, what would you say to women? Both, everybody can go. Women after one failed relationship
Mm-hmm.
that cannot let go of that man and move on and live their best life. They stuck on that man, stuck in their past, and see they hurting the one that's trying to be there for them. So what would y'all say to the ladies? I see some ladies that still stuck on baby daddies, ex-husbands, ex-boyfriends, guys that they had soul ties with one or two times. So
Mm-hmm.
how could we help them release that past hurt and just move on and let them know that they can be loved by a real man? Because I'll share my story after that, but y'all go ahead.
Counseling.
I believe that we need to be able to acknowledge that which we did that may have caused
Mm-hmm.
or to the demise of our marriage, because we all share responsibilities. It's never just one sided. That's what I believe. I know I've had to acknowledge how I could have been better, how I could have done better, but in the end, um, the best thing for me, physically, emotionally, spiritually, was to leave, because I tried to leave before on two
Mhm.
separate occasions.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept hearing the Lord say, I didn't tell you to go anywhere. I didn't tell you to go anywhere. But this time, after a mild heart attack, quadruple bypass, and just being sick in my body and sick in my spirit, all I would do when I'd go home was cry. I'd get to the house and he'd still be there before he went to work. I would cry and just cry out to God, never in front of him. But I had to acknowledge what it was that I did. And I knew what it was that he did,
Mm-hmm.
and the confessions that came from his mother and things like this on her deathbed. But I had to learn to forgive him, forgive myself, and then I had to let it go, because sometimes we ask God, please remove this from me. If it's not for me,
Mm-hmm.
remove it from me.
And that's uncomfortable
And when
saying.
he goes to do it, we're trying to hold on.
Holding
And it's
on
like,
to
but didn't you?
it.
Wait,
Yeah.
Lord, not
But
this.
didn't
Wait,
you
wait, Lord.
listen?
Wait, Lord,
Yes.
not
That's
this,
it.
not this, this,
Yeah.
Yes.
not
Yes.
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This good for you, but
Picking and
this not.
choosing. Right. Picking and
Yeah.
choosing what we want to let go. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll say, Lord, show me a sign if you really want me to go. And
Uh-huh.
here he goes, sending you all the different signs, but you're ignoring it.
Right.
Um, when I finally made the decision to leave the situation, I got tired of, our marriage is in trouble. Okay, so what do you want to do? Nothing. So why keep telling me this if you don't want to do nothing about it?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, you know what? I don't want to hear that no more. I'm gone. I said, give me an opportunity to finish my cardiac rehab, get me a good job, and I'm out. And it went from there. But you've got to love yourself enough to know what it is that's good for you. If he beating
Mm-hmm.
on you, baby, it ain't good for you. Baby, if he's gaslighting you, it ain't good for you.
Mm-hmm.
If he's always putting you down, if you can't do anything right, because even down to my cooking, that didn't taste like it usually does. You've been eating my cooking for almost 30 years. What's wrong with it now? I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing the same thing
Wow.
that I did before. Get out.
Most
You
of the
know, because
time when
all
those
you're doing
things
is
happen,
dying
is
on the
somebody else
inside.
involved.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, love
Yeah.
you
Some
enough
Love
to
you.
get
That's the
out.
key. Yeah.
some women got to learn to love them and just let go. I see so many women is stuck in the relationship
Yes.
because of money, because
Hmm.
of the
And
support.
that's the hard part.
And one thing my father told me this, and this is before I bought my first home. He said, never live with a man, and here's why. Because if that man, he can't put you out. He can't put you out. You have your own place, and don't let him put nothing in your house, because if he decide to leave, he can't take nothing with him. Only time I allowed that is when I got married to my husband, and
Mm-hmm.
we bought a home together and put everything in here together. So ain't nothing mine and ain't nothing yours. It's
Right.
all.
Right.
And some women don't know how to build that, but they got to be strong-minded women, and they got to really. It's so many women out here that just unhealed and hurt, and
And
they
we are so strong, women. We are so strong. We don't even really
know how
tap
powerful we
into,
are.
it's just something that God just gave us.
We give
And
birth to humans.
yes, and
Yeah,
and and we
babies.
we are so strong. Yes, we're so strong. And even me, when I was self-employed,
Mm-hmm.
and so when I just being self-employed, didn't have a full-time job, so things started kind of getting slow, and things start, I just really couldn't focus on my business, to be honest. But then, I realized, I said, I gotta put my big girl panties on, and I gotta do what I gotta do for me and my daughter, you know. And I made plenty of sacrifice, and God is just so good. He is so good. And and I can remember even wanting to just end my life.
Mm-hmm.
The enemy was just telling me, just go, just commit suicide, kill yourself, you know.
Yeah.
I was sitting in my room by myself, and I was so tired of the pain. The pain was so great. I hated to wake up in the
Right.
morning, and and he just kept telling me, just take your life, just take it. I said, and it
Woo.
hurt so bad, day into day into day. I was a size 18,
Mm.
18, 20. I went down to a size 7.
Treya, but stay right there though. I want you to speak to women that's at that point of taking their life, especially over a man or anything. Because there's people that's feeling that way. Because see,
Yeah.
I didn't have nobody to speak to me when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Right.
want all of us to take, I want y'all to take turns and speak to women that's there, right
Well,
there.
all I can say is, um, there's life after divorce. There's life after a breakup, and one thing I began to realize, if I took my life, that's selfish, because I still had a daughter here,
Right.
and my daughter need her mother. I'm worrying about my pain, but not worrying about the pain of my child, not worrying about the pain of my loved ones that left here to suffer because of just me. And when we become unselfish, that kind of help us to to hold on and realize that you gone, but he's still here to do whatever.
Yeah.
His life's going to continue. And even as even I started thinking of things that I wanted to do to him. I'm in prison, but he's still out here to do what he want to do.
Baby. So
And
many women
so
sitting there too.
sometimes we gotta think. We gotta think. But when you're in them situations, it's like you blank. I mean, I blacked out. I didn't care. And now I think first, and I pray. I have to, because that's the only way. That's the only, and nobody was in that room but me and the Lord. That's who
Mm,
Hmm.
spoke to me and told me that there was life after this. And that's who stopped me from taking those pills.
right. And see my situation where when I was there, I just really thought about it. If I take my life, because I didn't have children at the time, and I was
Mm-hmm.
only 15, 14 years old, and I was ready to take my life, and then I had to tell myself, if I kill myself, they only gonna cry over me for a week, and
That's
then they
it.
ain't gonna miss me,
That's it. You're gonna be a
and
memory.
Mm.
and then that's all I would have been is a
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah.
And I just thank God where I'm at today that I'm still here to tell this story and tell other women.
Right.
Hmm.
Harming yourself and taking your life is not the answer.
Yes.
Um, um, I look back like, I don't, nobody deal with me anyway. I'm the black sheep of my family. So, um, and if I would have took my life, they probably would have been happy. Who knows? They, like I said, they would have missed me for a minute and went on about their lives. And they, just like they do at funerals, they
Hmm.
will prepare and cry for the funeral. That same day and the next day, they're back to partying and dancing and enjoying
Hmm.
the best life. So
Hmm.
my thing is that live and make them mad on purpose. But
Hmm.
okay,
Right.
ma'am, go ahead.
Hmm.
Right. I
Yes.
know the first time that I tried to kill myself, I was 13, or unalive myself, I was 13. Um, I felt like I wasn't worth anything. It's just the way that I felt that I allowed myself to feel. So I took a handful of aspirin, thinking that that was going to do the trick. And where I lived, we had an alleyway where the dump trucks would come and pick up the garbage from the places where you put your trash at. So there was a house that was empty down the road from my house, and I took a walk in the alley, and that spot where the trash cans go was empty. And I had taken these aspirins, and I was like, they can tote me off with the trash whenever they come pick up on Tuesday.
Mhm.
And no, just woke up out of sleep with a real sick stomach and went home, and nobody realized that I was even gone. And it should have told me, I should have listened or looked at that red flag when I first got married, because it wasn't even 6 months in to my marriage that I found out that he was being unfaithful. And at that time, I used to have really bad back problems and had hydrocodone that was prescribed to me, and I tried to unalive myself. Then also, I took the whole bottle of pills, and I told him about it, and we called the or he called the ambulance, and they took me to the hospital, and I pumped my stomach, and I ended up spending a week in the psych ward. And he told me then, he said, "You ever do this again, I'll leave you." Um, and I hadn't tried to do it then, but did I think about it? Oh yeah, especially when I was ready to go after her. I
Mm.
didn't care, but I
Hmm.
blacked
Hmm.
out.
Hmm.
It was just one of those moments, and I tell you, I thank God that I don't drink anymore the way I used to. But between the alcohol, between the music, between everything that was going on, I wished uh, harm on her. I wished harm on him, but I was ready to.
You was enraged. You just didn't
Yeah,
hear.
yeah.
That.
Hmm.
I wasn't. I wasn't.
Mm-mm. What
I
would y'all say
wasn't. But
to
thank
the ladies?
God.
Amen, amen. What would y'all say to the ladies that um, try to buy a man's love? And
Woo.
the reason why I'm asking, because when y'all read this book here, Damage Crown Still Shine, y'all gonna see after where money don't buy love. But I shared my story.
Hmm.
I can go first, but I yeah, this guy I really liked him, and I
Hmm.
was trying to buy his love. I really, really was digging him, and he got me for $21,000 and got me
Woo.
for a brand new car. Okay, I was really trying to buy this man love, and kind
Hmm.
of find out I was a fool and caught. And he was in church. I called him a wolf in sheep
Cheap
clothing.
clothes.
That's what I
Hmm.
called him because he
Hmm.
he was in the church. And he had a lot of women in the church, and I knew it, but everybody was competing for his love. And so me, I thought I had the money to do it, but bad love don't get you nowhere, honey. Because I'm tell you, I was left broke, busted, and disgusted.
Hmm.
But you know what, God, and I forgave him. And what happened was, God showed him he was going through something real bad, and God showed him me, and he came, dropped to his knees, and said, "Would you forgive me? And I love you." And I said, "Baby, I'm married. Now you've been fine." But what would you say to the ladies? What would y'all say to the ladies? Have y'all ever experienced that? And what would y'all say to the ladies?
I
No,
can't
I
say
don't.
that I've ever experienced that.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Y'all ain't ever.
No.
So I was the only fool. I was the only fool. Well, that's a chapter that's in my book.
Not money wise, but you think, a lot of times we think that keep giving a man sex is gonna,
Right. Now that
using your
part.
body, and thinking that that's gonna make him fall in love.
Yeah.
Right.
That don't work.
Doing those things that you compromise yourself with, your health
Yes,
with.
yes.
Now
Hmm.
that's, yeah. Knowing
No
that
sex
you
and money.
did something that you never really would have done, but you love
Yes.
him so much that you're willing to compromise um,
Hmm.
what you believe and what you don't believe just to satisfy him. Yeah,
And
no.
and I think that us as women, the mistake that we make, um, is, um, we give so much of ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and 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 assume that a man feels the way we feel.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, you know, we love so hard and we love so much, but we really don't even really know how this man really feels about us.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right,
know, and so and I can say that because I believe that was part of my mistake. I think I would jump out of an airplane, but would he do it for me? You know what I'm saying? I would run out in front of a train, but would he do it for me?
Make it make sense.
right,
Make it
And
make
so
sense.
it's we put so much
And these
into
men,
him, and he's giving very little of himself, his
I,
resources or whatever,
I, I
and
look at.
so
Go ahead. I'm
I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry, you can go ahead. Go
No, you go ahead.
ahead.
Finish.
But yeah, that's something. um I mean, when I tell you I've learned so much, um I have a master's I have a master's degree in when it comes to relationships now. You
Baby,
know,
that's what we're going to get on here and talk about it.
and because my standards is so high now, it's not unrealistic,
Okay.
but my standards were so low. And the reason why my standards were so low because my self-esteem was low. But once I learned to love myself and know my worth and realize that I really am a queen, I
Right.
really
mhm,
deserve the
My
best,
word. Yes, yes.
you know, that helped me to stop letting men take advantage of me, you know? And so once you realize who you won't just take anything because men is then quick to say, oh, because I would say, the X, Y, and Z and this and that, and it's not that I think I'm better. And that's the first thing they think, that you think that you're better. No, I don't think I'm better. It's just that I know what I'm worth.
right.
So
Do anybody know this person that just came in?
Yeah, Trulita's one of my friends. She's a new author
Okay,
also.
okay,
Hey,
okay.
Chris.
Hello. Well, she got her on mute. She on mute.
Okay.
Yeah, but if women know about a lot of failed, I look at all of, see, I was young when I did that with that guy. I was what, 24, 25 years old. I was really young.
mm-hmm.
I was still wet behind the ears. But I look at all the failed relationships that I tried to throw myself at because I was looking for love in all
Mm-hmm.
the wrong places. And this women still out here
Go ahead and have what you want.
40, 45, 50 years old, still looking for love in all the wrong places. But that
Mm-hmm.
was me.
Uh-huh.
And I look back over my life, I'm like, wow, I wasted all that time. Tried to please these men
Mm-hmm.
and love all these men. Now I'm married, and I'm like, okay, baby, you know what? I love you. Okay. But all that time and that stuff I did with those other men, I'm looking like, dang, now you get married and get tired. I'm like, okay, you know what? You just forget about stuff, because you
Mm-hmm.
married in a relationship and things that you used to do when you was young, You tired. You done wore yourself out and gave it all to a no good brother.
Yeah.
And that's the mistake that we make, you know, and not waiting on God to send, and then you end up getting a whole bunch of, you know, men that just waste your time,
Waste
wasting
your
your
time.
energy, you know. And so when the right one does come, you ain't really got no energy for him, you know. So that's my prayer that I just, you know, I said, and now when I say, Lord, if he ain't the one, just remove him, you know, because I'm like, I don't have, and first of all, I'll be 55 in 2 months,
You look good. Black don't
you
crack.
know. Thank you. And so at my age now, I just don't have no time, just I don't have no time for,
For the foolishness.
for
For the
foolishness. And I've been through so much,
It
you
would be
know.
best to just be a man's friend and get to know him before you just
Yeah.
give your all to him. It'd be wasting your time because your time is
It's
valuable, and
very valuable.
that you
Yeah.
can't get that time back.
You can't get it back.
We can't get 21 and 22, 23 back. That time
Right.
is gone.
Right.
We can't go back when it was good or stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
we got a lot of work to do. So, is there any other chapter y'all want to pull out your book? We're gonna make sure before we get off, we're gonna present our books, tell people how to get our books, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm
Chris
good.
is one of the new authors that I was talking about. Chris, you want to tell us about your book?
Hello, we can't hear you. Hello, we can't hear. She must having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do y'all have another chapter you want to pull out your book?
No, I'm good.
No.
I'm good for today.
Are you good for today?
Let's see.
Would you like to tell us how to get your book?
Well, my book is my
You
link
got a
is
picture of
actually
it to show us?
my link is
You got a. Oh,
here's my this is my book.
okay.
And my link is in my bio actually on all social medias, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. And my book can be purchased on Amazon.
On Amazon. Okay.
And the link is in my bio.
The link is in the bio. Okay.
hmm
And your name is on your book. Could you tell everybody your name? If they got to type it in?
Yes. My name is TSCHANTREA Riley, and it'll come up. Or even if they put the title of my book in, the process, the purpose, it'll come up.
Process the purpose.
hmm
Okay. You want to show your book, ma'am?
Okay. Hold on. I was talking to Patton or
Oh,
to Chris in the. Okay. Let me get back. Oh,
she left. Yeah. So, did you enjoy the show?
Yeah,
We're
it
gonna
was
be doing this.
good.
We're
hmm
gonna be doing it again.
hmm
We're gonna do it. Okay.
We still live? Are we still
Yeah,
live?
yeah, you still live, but she went off. I guess she's gonna try to come back on.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you
I'm a
how
skate
to
out in
get
a
it
minute
back
because I
on?
haven't had dinner.
go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the name of my book is From Pillar to Post. Now I'm standing, and it can be purchased at Amazon.com. And if you look at the Kindle site, because it is a part of my ministry, um, there's a read now portion of the book on there where, if you can't afford the book, it's there for you to read. But the Kindle's 10 and the paperback's 12.
Okay.
Um, and it's available on, like I said, Amazon.com and at booksmillion.com also.
Books a Million. Okay.
Hmm.
And my books are Damaged Crown Still Shine. And this is the lovely author on the back, myself. And you can find my wait. Well, I'm sorry. I'm the author of two books. I have a workbook, ladies. We talk about the
Yes.
damaged crown that still shine. We talk about fix your crown. It's a workbook, and you can have questions and fix your own crown. Journal about yourself,
Hmm.
and you can find it on my website www.lawanakelly.com or Amazon and plenty other platforms. You Google me, everything about me will come up. Lawana Kelly.
Awesome.
Good. Yes, yes. So, ladies, so y'all want to do this again?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, you said you got to go have dinner, Trill.
Oh yeah, yeah. I have
Okay.
my. I try not to eat after 8 o'clock.
Okay. So I will give you a call a little later then. See what time we'll come back on Thursday.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for joining the show.
You're welcome.
Okay. Bye
Nice
bye.
meeting you.
Nice meeting you too.
Okay. Okay. There we
Yeah,
go. I was
Chris
trying
was
to
saying,
friend of yours come back. She texted me and asked me could I hear her. Hold on. She said something else. No, okay. I'm saying I have to be added. I'm backstage. Tell uh, tell her try to come in again. We got 31 comments. Good lord.
all right.
Okay. And so we got to make sure we let women know how to overcome some of these obstacles we've been through, some things that we've been through.
Exactly. And it takes platforms like this, because there's so many women out there that haven't read our books, that are looking for somebody and just don't know how to go to anybody. I've got a friend that runs a place where she empowers women,
Yeah.
and she got the book and read it, and she shared it.
Yeah. We just got to find people that will support us because, like you said, our books is not for everybody.
Right. Then you have those people that say, why would you tell all that stuff about yourself? Because it wasn't about me. It was about God using me as one of his vessels to be able to get that information out there to somebody.
Our story for God's glory.
Yes.
Telling our story for God's glory.
Oh, wow. Look at all those comments.
Yes, yes. I think we're gonna have to. Okay, her device. Something going on with her device. It looks like she tried to come in again.
Okay.
Let me see. There will need to be a connection there, mic, before you can add them. She got to connect to her mic before we can add her.
Okay.
When she try to come in, she got to connect. I think she can hear us though. So, what days are you
Yes, you
available?
can hear us. I'm available any day of the week, anytime.
Let's see. I can hear y'all. Connect to your mic. Okay. That's, she said she can hear us.
Okay.
Author, Tabitha, author of an open window.
Hmm. Yeah, I've known her for years.
Maybe if she can try to come in now. You froze.
Learn this, learn how to use
Some
this platform.
somehow. Okay, somehow you up here 2 times. You see yourself up here 2 times?
I do. I don't
Okay.
know how to go out and then come back in right.
You fine. Cause the one that you froze on that last one. Okay.
Yeah, I've known Tralitha since she was a teenager. And when I read her book, I was like, wow, you never know the things that people are going through in their lives, and they might just be right next door. But I tell you what, she's a beautiful young lady, and I'm proud of her for writing her story. So many people need to hear that story so that they can heal.
What's the title of her book?
Oh,
And see, the thing too is that we got to find a better way to really promote our books because they upload 2,000 books a day onto Amazon.
yes, so many.
Yeah. So okay, how did you get your book on Books a Million?
When I published through um, createspace.com, which merged in with Amazon Books,
Okay.
and they had the package where they'd advertise your book or send your book to Books a Million, Amazon, and a couple of other places. And that was, like I said, back in 2017. So it's changed a lot. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go back with Kindle Direct Publishing, which is has taken the place of CreateSpace.com, or if I'm going to find uh, another avenue to self-publish.
Okay. And so, like, what kind of ministry have you had with your book so far? Like some things you've done with your book.
Well, I've been able to get the book out to a few women's shelters,
Okay.
and I've taken it to just the nursing homes where my mother-in-law used to be. I've taken it up there because they have little libraries, and I've left a couple of books out there. And then within my community, I used to work a at an agency that
Hmm.
helped women in recovery and men in recovery, and they've had a few of my books. And there was a little cafe that was down the road from them that had some of the clients come in there, and they had books that they could read. So I took some books down there. I was sharing, um, and a lot of uh, my books. I did one author when when I went public for the first time. I had a gathering at my church, but that was such a bad time for me because my birth mother had just passed, and um, it was in the middle of the summer, and people were doing things and weren't able to be there. So I just never did another book signing. Um, but I did go places like little fairs where they had authors available,
Okay.
um, and I shared my books there, like you did last
Hmm.
weekend, was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So just got it out that way and through word of mouth,
Okay.
and then it came up on Amazon to where I could share now. So that's what I did because, like I said, it's not about the money for me. It's about
Getting your story out.
sharing God's love, and His mercy and His grace,
Hmm.
and being able to help just one person.
Yeah. 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 And that's all I want to do is just help that one person. And
Yeah.
and want my book to go a lot of places. I just got to learn with the marketing. That's why I'm struggling at is with my marketing.
Yes. And I believe that in order to have a real good marketing, you'll have to purchase that. Get somebody that or somebody that you're connected with that can market your book for you. Because we did the hard part. We wrote the book,
That's it.
and there's people, listen, there's people out there that are, you know, gifted with getting that word out there, getting you out there. So I think that's what I'll do with the next one, is get better marketing.
Okay. And
Um, and it's worth the investment. It's an investment in
make
in
sure you own your own ISBN number.
yes, definitely.
Yes, because when somebody else own it, they get the royalties. I know you said you don't care about the money, but you want to see your work, your finances for your work,
Exactly.
and,
Exactly.
and that's
And
how
that's
we.
one of the things that Create Space did was I was able to get my ISBN, the book that goes into the Library of Congress or category or whatever it was, just all that good stuff. And, you pay for the investment and I paid,
How do you
so
how do you get it in the Library of Congress?
through, I don't know how to do it regularly, but I think you can go to US librarycongress.gov and
Yes.
put your book out there.
You say
But
you
this came as a package for me when I did my Create Space.
you say U.S. of Congress,
Mm-hmm. The
U.S.
librarycongress.org.
.org. O-R-G. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try to. I know some stuff I gotta do. Like my book is like in other countries. My
Mm-hmm.
book um is on Amazon, eBay, Walmart, online, just online, a lot of places. But
Mm-hmm.
someone told me to do the U.S. of Congress, but
Mm-hmm.
I didn't look into it. But I'm going to be looking into it because it's confirmation that's what I need to do. So,
Yes. Yes.
but I do
Um,
a book that really help women that have been through sexual assault, abuse, abandonment. Um, uh, it's a lot of things that I talk about in my book. It's just not just on the sexual trauma. It's not on the abandonment. It talks about my life after trauma as well. And I
right.
really want to help women. You know, we're going to go through things, especially with men having kids, with men that we're not with, that we love so much, but we got to keep going because life is meant to go through. It's not
Yeah.
meant to go, situation happen and you stay stuck. It's meant to go
Right.
through. And my book talks about that, and it's coming from a very forgiving place. And
Mm-hmm.
I want women to get there because, see, they just don't know that unforgiveness is what brings sickness to our body.
Exactly. Ooh.
It's
Exactly.
so,
That's why I believe I had my quadruple bypass. Yes, we go through the genetics and all that other crazy stuff like not eating right, but I believe a broken heart had a lot to do with my quadruple bypass, and I thank God for um, turning me back on and fixing that broken heart.
amen.
Because now I can go forward and continue to do what it is that He has placed in me to do.
Right. 'Cause I believe you got work to do. He ain't done with you yet. He ain't done with us
No,
yet.
no. Listen, that's why I want to hurry up and get on this transplant list so I can get fixed up so I can do what I got to do. Because I
Amen.
can't do it sick. Can't do
Amen.
it sick.
Amen. But you do what you can
Yes,
while
definitely.
you're going through. Do what you can.
Yes.
So how long did it take you before you get on the transplant list?
Well, I'm waiting now. They have a calculation called the MELD score, and it's a model for end stage liver disease. And the score goes from 8 to 40. And when you reach that 40 stage, it's crazy because where I'm at right now, if I were to have the liver transplanted right now, I wouldn't survive 30 days.
Jesus.
But if I get to that 40 points, um, my survival could be anywhere from 3 months to 2 years. But if I'm somewhere in between, um, I can live up to 7 years after the transplant. But you know what? God's the uh, the one who decides. I
The
just want to
author,
be
the
able.
author and the
Yes,
finish of your faith. Yeah,
yes, exactly.
yes, yeah.
So, but right now I'm at an 11, and in order to get on that list, I have to be at a 17.
Okay.
Um, so
God gonna
everything in God's time, which is always the right time. It's just I'm very impatient.
right,
I'm
right,
like,
right.
fix me now. Yeah, but it's
God
a
gonna
go.
He gonna make a
It's a
way
going
for
through.
you. He gonna make a
I,
way.
I know He will.
And then
I'm
I
just, I
go
would
ahead.
say, I'm glad that you're up and moving. I tell you what, God worked a miracle in you.
Let me tell you. I'm about to stand up because a lot of people on my Facebook page have not seen. I'm able to walk without a. I'm able to move and walk without a walker. I'm able to get around. I'm able to move. It was so scary, and then the devil want to play on your mind. Your husband
Yeah.
gonna leave you because you can't walk no more. My husband said,
Woof,
"Baby, I'm
devil
gonna
is a
carry."
lie.
He said, "I'm gonna carry you to the end of the earth." I said, "Well, let me start using my own strength because I ain't at the end yet."
Right, right. But that was so beautiful, what he said last night and when he was telling the story. I was like, see, now that's what love is. It's not just washing your body and letting you do whatever, but let me take care of you. That's what in sickness and in health looks like.
Yes, and he take them vows to heart. But you know what? God just let me see what I did for him because he done had 2 heart attacks, a stroke, and went through so much in his life, even with the losses
Hmm.
that he's been experienced with his children. I took good care of him, and so God showed me everything you did for him, he gonna do it for you. And that was just a
Right.
blessing because I was just amazed. Putting me in the tub, washing me up, lifting me out the tub. I mean, if he could have been my every step, he would have been my every step. My
See,
son,
that's beautiful.
my son, let me tell you, he was on it too. And I just knew I had to get it together. Seeing my son face, my husband face and my nephew's faces, oh my goodness. It's like the men was more hurt. She trying to come in again. The men was so hurt.
Good.
Let's see. Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, Chris,
Yes, we
yes.
do. Hello.
This, hey, having difficulties.
Yes, yes. Are we gonna see a picture of you, Elise?
I was trying to get a picture up.
Okay, you can't push the camera on.
Say that again.
Can you turn your camera on?
I'm not camera ready. That's why I was trying
Oh,
to
okay,
put up the
Girl, you
picture.
beautiful.
you fine then. You fine. We gotta see who this author is.
I know. I was trying to get it together.
Huh? Hello?
I think she's trying to get a picture up.
Oh. Oh, device connected. She must be in a bad place in a bad area. Yes, but I
Yeah,
really
but
want.
that was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. That's your phone. That's your phone.
Yeah, somebody's trying. Okay, there we go. And there I am in two places. Yeah,
Oh, you back up again?
yeah, here we go.
I don't see it.
Who, Pris? No, she's not back up yet.
Oh, okay, okay. But yeah, so my husband and my family was so supportive. My daughter was doing the cooking, she was doing the making of plates. Because even though they grown, everybody in the house is grown. I cook and I make plates. I serve everybody. So my daughter, she kicked in and did what I would do for serving and cooking. And my husband did his part, and my son did his. So
That's beautiful.
I can honestly say that I am truly blessed to have the family I have. And
That's beautiful.
it was created by God. I was about to say me, but no, it was nobody but God. It wasn't me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so you said you available. What did I do? You said you available. I'm trying
Any
to
day of the week, anytime.
any day of the week, anytime.
Hmm.
Okay, because I'm liking this, and I feel like I want to show up a lot more. I'm gonna
Yeah, I'm
make
liking this also.
I'm gonna make sure because see, I looked at your page. I don't know what page I looked at, and I didn't see you shared on. I didn't see the share on there, but people looking
Yeah,
at it
I
on.
did it on my regular Facebook page.
Okay, okay. That's what I was looking. I guess I was looking at the wrong one. Yeah. So, you know, testimonies in life, things happens, things, you know, we just got to keep going, keep going, keep going, and keep going. We can't just
That's
stay
it.
stuck and stop.
And it's easy to get stuck.
It's
It's
very
easy to get stuck, especially when you get in your own head. That's why um, the Bible tells us an idle mind is the devil's playground.
well, that's
Because if we stop focusing on him, he comes in the tiniest of spots and starts working on us.
yeah. And that's when I was in a hospital for 9 days. I found myself laying in the bed, and woe is me. And then I heard the
Hmm.
Lord said, "Pick up your bed and walk." And that's when I started making
Hmm.
a walking TikToks. Okay, Lord, I hear you. He said, "Pick up the bed." That ain't my bed, so I wasn't going. I got up out the bed and I started walking. And so as I came home, I tried. I pushed myself. Like when he put me in the tub one time, and he left out and came back like 20 minutes later. And I'm up out the tub and I'm drying myself. Why you get out the tub by yourself? Oh, he was so mad. But I just wanted to let God know this is what I want. I want
Right.
my independence. But like I said, when I went blind in my eye 2 years ago, I went blind in his eye
Woo.
2 years ago. I got my vision back, but losing a limb, any parts of your body, you gotta appreciate everything you have. Because
Everything.
they said you never know what you got good until it's gone. When my half of my sight
Exactly.
was gone, when my legs mobility was gone, I'm like, Lord, no, this is not it. This is not it. No, you said by your stripes I am healed, and I know I'm
Hmm.
healed. And I start pushing and getting myself all the way together.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we have to do our part. I tell you, it's crazy how you and I share similar stories. I lost my vision back in 2007
mm-hmm.
when I presented at the hospital with a blood sugar of 999. I could be looking at you and see where the sockets in your eyes and your nose and your mouth are supposed to be, but I couldn't see your features. And that's because my blood sugar had been so high. So once it started coming down, um, I got better. I still have issues, um, but I can see. And I thank the Lord for the little bit of sight that I have.
Okay, so your vision did come back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it did. It
So
did. And,
how long was you out of how long you couldn't see?
oh, it started that December prior in 2006. And when I presented in the hospital, it was January 8th. So about 3 months, because I had just started school at Tri County Tech, like mid January, and I had to use a magnifying glass in order to be able to read my lessons.
So
And
they didn't tell you what was wrong.
it was a diabetes.
Oh,
because
okay.
when your blood sugar goes out of control, everything goes out of control. So
Mm,
my vision was gone.
okay, because my vision was only gone 5 days, and they put me on steroids because
Hmm.
I could just see the top of your hair, and then just say if I'm looking at your face and the bottom of your chin, your eyes, nothing I can see.
Yeah,
If I had to
yeah,
step back and look at your clothes, I could just see your feet and then the top of your head.
yeah, yeah. That's a scary feeling. I could see well enough to drive because I had to get to school. But when it came to seeing things close up or even facial features, I couldn't
Really?
do it.
Really? Mm,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
scary. I
it's,
said, Lord, I don't ever want to lose my sight again, because that's awful.
I
That's
told
awful.
I told the Lord, Lord, give me my sight back. I give you a pinky toe. I
Well,
was
you
trying
can't
to
have my pinky toe either.
look, look. I was trying to compromise. If I had to give up something, I would give up the because you can't really see the pinky toe. But I give you a pinky toe. But I,
But you need it for balance.
well, yeah. Well, I didn't know no better at that time. I was just trying to see again. Look, look.
Say, look, work with me here.
Huh?
I said, work with me here, Lord.
Right. Hey, take a pinky toe. I was trying to think of the least thing that nobody won't miss seeing. And that was a pinky toe because everybody ain't looking at my feet.
That's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then trying to be able to get up. I remember I had my quadruple bypass
Mm-hmm.
April 1st of 2020, right at the height of COVID season.
Wow.
And they had me up on my feet that same day after I came out of surgery and woke up and that anesthesia wore off. I was like, man, can a sister rest? But Lord was like, come on, we got this. I
Thank
thought I
God.
was by myself. Physically, I was, but he was there with me the entire time.
Yeah, and it's good that you got up and moved when they wanted you to move because you just don't know you
Hmm.
could have made yourself even sicker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess she's not gonna come back in, huh?
Uh, what she say? Oops, comments.
Right. I didn't even see her put a comment. Hey, I just listen from here.
Okay.
My mom
Chris,
just
we're gonna do this again on Thursday. And she dropped her book
her stream.
information down here.
Oh, that's her stream. That's a link she sent up. You see that? I put it up on the screen. You froze.